Hello, friends, and welcome back to the new episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady. And today, a new portion of Karen awaits us. The first story is about a lady who thinks an employee in a theme park costume works in a store, and the second's about Karen who pretends to know the mayor. The worst Karen of all. All right, ladies and gents, buckle up. This one's going to be a doozy. So I did a college internship at a very popular magical theme park in Orlando this past year. Working at such a large theme park, there are hundreds and hundreds of different costumes, uniforms, that span across the parks. Some of which I honestly could see how they could be mixed up with some large stores and their uniforms, aka red shirt and khakis. This did not apply to my costume, however. It was very unique, and I really don't get how this happened to this day. I worked at a huge merch location in my park. One could say it was gear-tastic. Our whole store was gear-themed, and we have working gears all around the store. This being said, our costume consisted of a shirt that is red, blue, and yellow, and had giant gears embroidered on the front. It's literally impossible to miss. Not to mention the embroidered mouse on the back. To complement this amazing shirt, our pants are high-waisted gray slacks, but when I say high-waisted, I mean those suckers went high. They made anyone who wore them look like a grandma. Now, with this company comes lots and lots of training. We're told it's perfectly fine going out in public in our costumes. We're human too. We're just told to make sure none of our company IDs are shown and we remove our iconic name tag. That being said, I found myself grocery shopping after work from time to time. After a particularly long shift, I want to say 13 hours, I made my way to the closest Big Blue store. We all know how many Karens lurk in the aisles of that store. Now, amp that up by 9,000 because they're all on vacation. This particular store is very close to the theme park, so it's safe to say that these people have probably been visiting our parks. It was about 11 p.m., and needless to say, the store was packed as the park just closed. I make my rounds around the store, gather what I need, and end up in the self-checkout. This particular store is always packed, but the self-checkout was definitely the fastest. So I thought. This is where the story starts to get interesting. So I have a full cart and I'm just waiting in line for a checkout to open. I'm playing on my phone at this point, not knowing the crap show that's about to happen. Our lovely Karen of the evening is having issues with her self-checkout, and usually there's an employee in a blue vest that's there to help, right? Wrong. There was no store employee in sight. So naturally, when her eyes landed on me, she automatically thought I was somehow employed by this store. She yells something like, "Hey, come help me," toward my general direction. But as I'm not an employee, I didn't think she was speaking to me. I continue to play on my phone and she yells again, "Excuse me! Stop sitting on your phone and do your job!" At this point, I realized she was talking to me. I gave a polite, "Sorry ma'am, I don't work here." Boy, did that set her off. This is where any normal person would think, oh, duh, they aren't even wearing a uniform. Not this Karen. She was in too deep. She started blowing hot air out of her ears just like the cartoons, I swear. She makes her way over to me, gets super close to my face, and says, "You are going to stop being lazy, and you are going to help me right now. Teenagers like you need to learn how to do their damn job. It's a wonder your generation's even still alive at this point. Now help me with this machine, or I will speak to your manager." Let it be known I'm 20, and honestly look nothing like a teenager. I let out another, "Ma'am, I promise you, I don't work here. I'm sure someone will be around soon to help you." Throughout this whole encounter, I had to keep up the whole niceness persona as I'm repping my own company and they have a high standard for customer service. She starts going ballistic and screaming about getting a manager and how she's going to corporate about how I won't help her. She pulls the race card and I really had it at this point. Luckily for me, the woman and her family in front of me step in and said, "Lady, she literally works at the theme park. She doesn't work here. Leave her alone." Karen is full-on red in the face now. She spits at me and starts yelling for a manager. "Excuse me, I need a manager." Finally, a blue-vested employee comes over. He starts calming our wonderful Karen down and trying to understand what's happening. At this point, I just push my cart past the crazy lady and start checking out. I just want to go home and make a corn dog. I hadn't eaten all day, and I already had to deal with crazy guests at my own job, so I wasn't about to be berated outside of my job, too. Well, Mrs. Karen followed me to my checkout and continued to yell at our blue vest boy, "This little girl you have working here gave me attitude, and I will not stand for this. I'm on vacation. I'm not about to let your employee treat me like this. She's only treating me like this because I'm insert race here. I want her fired immediately. At this point, she's blocking me from my items in my cart. I just want to check out. The blue vest calls for backup, and a manager comes to calm her down. Luckily, our manager friend takes Karen away from me so I can finish checking out. At this point, I just want to cry and eat my corn dog. After Karen left, I bagged up my items as fast as possible and booked it out of there. I never learned of what happened to Karen, but I hope she's satisfied. Anyway, that's the story of the craziest Karen I ever encountered. And it wasn't even at my job, which is a Karen trap. I don't work here, lady, and neither does the mayor. This happened last Saturday night. My husband and I had gone to a Christmas party, and we were on our way home sometime between 1 and 2 in the morning. I hadn't gotten to the grocery store earlier because I only needed a couple of items, and I thought it could wait. My husband asked if we had milk at home, one of the items we did need. We were close to a locally owned 24-hour grocery store that I never go to, so we went ahead and stopped there. Like I said, we'd been at a party. Husband was my DD, and I was a little tipsy. Not drunk, but shouldn't be driving. If I let my hubby go in, he'd buy 10 unnecessary items and forget one of the items I need. So I said I would go in. As I was getting out, my hubby asked me to get some pastries from the bakery area. I roll my eyes, but agree. So I go in the unfamiliar store and try to get my bearings. Basic grocery store layout, milk at the back of the store, bakery to the immediate left. I see an employee who's stocking and or cleaning around the register area. We nod to each other as I decide I don't need a cart or a basket for my 3 items. I head to the back of the store thinking I'll grab the milk first, then my other item, then swing by the bakery last as it was close to the front. Every aisle has boxes stacked around as they restock everything late at night when they have very few customers. It's a bit of a maze, but you could get a cart down every aisle. I get to the dairy section and I'm looking for the milk I want because everything is arranged slightly different than at my regular store. That's when I hear someone who's halfway yelling from a good distance away from me. I didn't know this woman and couldn't really understand what she was yelling about, so I paid no attention as I'm a little tipsy and getting tired. Now, I've been to a party. I'm wearing a dark green velvet dress covered with gold sparkly flecks, over-the-knee black boots, and a small gold crossbody purse, and wearing a Santa hat. I do not look like I'm an employee currently working at the store. This woman comes up to me, pushing a cart that appears to have enough food and sundries to survive the apocalypse. She's at least as old as my mother and clearly able-bodied, but probably not completely right in the head. Or maybe she herself had been drinking. I don't know. She says, "Finally, I was starting to think I was all alone in this store." I realized I had not seen an employee since the one I encountered upon entering, so I replied, "Yeah, the employees may be in the back getting items to restock or possibly taking a break, I don't know." "Well, you can help me now. I need some sugar substitute. Help me find it." I'm still not realizing that she thinks I'm an employee here, so I simply say, "It's probably on the same aisle as the baking supplies near the regular sugar." I reach for the cooler door to retrieve my milk choice. As I'm opening the door, she puts her hand on the glass door and holds it shut. At this point, I'm tired, tipsy, and getting really annoyed, and I raise my voice and use language I normally don't use. "What the F is your problem?" This prompted the strange woman to start yelling, "You can't speak to me that way! Do you know who I am? I know the mayor!" I yelled back at her, "Well, I know the mayor too, and the governor, and I went to school with the attorney general. What the hell does that have to do with anything?" Tipsy me tends to ramble sometimes. At this point, the manager on duty appeared out of a door by the dairy section with a scared employee trailing behind. Ladies, is there a problem here?" The strange woman started demanding that I be fired because I had cussed her out and threatened her. I admitted to the use of profanity, but I'd not made any threats, and I didn't know she'd mistaken me for an employee. The woman began saying I was lying and not only threatened her, but now she claims I tried to steal her purse, which was buried under a bunch of grocery items in her cart. She again demanded that I be fired. The manager informed her that I was not an employee, but I was another customer, and he didn't believe her because he was in the office and saw our interactions on the cameras before he came out. She got huffy with him and once again said, "Do you know who I am? I know the mayor." I replied, "Again with the mayor? What does Charles have to do with any of this?" "Who's Charles?" she asked, confused. "The mayor," I replied. "I volunteered on his campaign." The manager tried to hold back a chuckle. He attempted to calm the situation and asked us both to go on about our shopping. He offered to have the employee help the woman, and he would assist me. The woman and employee left in search of her sugar substitute, I suppose, and the manager asked if I needed any assistance. I said no, I just wanted to get my items and leave. He said he would meet me up front and check me out personally. I got my items, including the pastries my husband asked for, and made my way to checkout. The manager gave me a 25% discount on my purchase and a gift card for $25 for future purchases. I told him it wasn't necessary, but he insisted. He also told me that he knew Charles, the mayor, and thought he was a great guy. I smiled and thanked him. On my way out of the store, I passed the register where the woman was now checking out. As I passed by, I said, "I'll be sure to tell the mayor you said hello." The woman turned beet red and looked away. Nothing crazy, but I had quite a story to share with my husband on the way home. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.